Alright, we are live and welcome to your live daily fantasy quickie. Hi guys, how is everyone? It's a Friday night here in the Philippines and we're gonna go all English today. Last week we did some Filipino discussions and there were some comments that there were some viewers who did not understand it, and but that's fine, it's okay. We chose to do it in Filipino. But today, as always, we have a special guest. If you were wondering where Kubish is, well, he just has some personal stuff to attend to, but he will be back. He will join us a little late today. My name is JJT, by the way, and today, of course, like with our live Q&A sessions, we have a guest, another special guest today. He's also part of our Invitational League, and which is really close at this point. I think the last place is just 7 games behind the first, so that's not really too far off. 1-2-7 win or 1-7-2 win could really make a difference. Even like our guest last week, Patrick Larocco, he was first when we were having the live Q&A. Now he's in the middle of the pack already because of a bad week 3 for him. And he is killing me at this point. So today we have Erik Ong of Hoopball. Hey, Erik.
Hi.
How are
you? Thank you for having me. Yeah.
How are your teams doing?
This week, most of them are good. I think I'm up 6-3 in a few of my head-to-head leagues. I'm currently 3rd place in my one Roto league.
Yeah.
I'm doing poorly in one, but it's all right. I'm still currently 1st place in my division in the 30 Deep Experts League.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how long that's gonna last because I recently suffered a bad blow to my team.
Injuries.
I'm missing. We can talk about. I mean, that's the whole point of the show, right?
Yeah.
I lost Kelly Olynyk, who's gonna be out. Yeah, so that sucks, right? He's gonna be reevaluated in 6 weeks.
Yeah,
that's after he was diagnosed with a grade 2 MCL sprain.
Yeah,
and when you're talking about a league that's 30 teams deep, there's no one I'm gonna pick up who's gonna replace anywhere close to his production.
Yeah,
I mean, I
that's
think
one player lost is a very valuable piece already.
Yeah.
How many roster
slots?
Positions?
I think we have active of 10.
10?
So
10,
yeah,
30?
Wait, sorry. We have PG, SG, SF, F, PF, C, util. So 8. We have 8 rosters and then 4 bench.
Yeah.
And then we have 3 IL.
That's
slots.
a lot.
Yes, it was a very deep draft. So, there I am figuring out what to do. But thankfully, I lucked out. I was able to pick up Miles Bridges, and I was 2nd pick. I have Nikola Jokic. So the two of them were been carried.
Nikola Jokic, 2nd pick.
Yeah, the 1st pick went Luka. So okay, whatever. Congrats, have fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I was when I saw my draft position before the draft actually started, I was ready planning, how to build around Curry or I was obviously assuming Jokic, I would have gone Curry, etc.
Yeah.
But I chose Olynyk specifically because of his PF and C eligibility. As I mentioned, we have one of each position covered.
Yeah.
So I want as much overlap as possible.
Yep.
And that's, one of the strategies that I recommend a lot of my regular readers and listeners to do when they're playing in very deep leagues. So that if there's one guy who gets injured, you can, move some guys around to optimize the bench guy that you're inserting into whichever slot.
Yeah.
So
You'll
in
be
my
more flexible on the positions and
yes, exactly. So in the absence of Kelly Olynyk, I was using Miles Bridges as SF. I'm moving him to PF because of his eligibility.
yeah.
And I'm activating Kenrich Williams off the bench. I mean, yuck, right?
But it's
But
30
hey,
team.
it's 30 team and he's my worst player who among the active ones. So all right. I mean,
Yeah. It's 9 cat
w-
as well.
9 cat head to head, but the only difference is you have 2 matchups per week.
2 matchups per week.
So I'm
So you're going
so
against 2 people, 2
yes,
teams.
at the same time. Everybody fights 2 people at the same time. So
Oh.
your record at the end of the week can go anywhere from 18-0, to 0-18 and everything
Yeah.
in between. So
Ah.
that's interesting. So
Yeah, very very interesting.
and the reason why we do that is because to really make the championship competitive when it's
Yeah.
just the last 2 teams, the finals matchup is over 3 weeks. It's best of 3.
Oh, it's
So
best of
winner.
3 or is it
So,
they count the
okay.
categories?
So yeah, okay. It's 3 weeks. They go head to head. Whoever wins week 1
Yeah.
wins one matchup.
Yeah.
It's best of 3. So if he sweeps, if he wins on the second week, it's over. So
so
but if the
it's
other
not
guy
the
wins,
counting the
yeah,
categories, right? The
it's still because yeah,
it's still, but I
it's
mean,
nine
one win
cat,
is
yeah,
just
but
one.
yes, and we do that over the course of 3 weeks, and it makes for a healthier and very
That's
competitive.
that's interesting as well. Like
That's very interesting, and it's very
yeah,
unique.
it's
It's unique to
very
the
exciting. And it's like watching the playoffs or the finals in an actual
exactly because
NBA team,
it's yes.
right?
So you cannot just say that okay, I got unlucky in this week and because of that I lost the championship.
Yeah,
No,
true.
you have no more excuses because you have 3 weeks to make sure that your team is better than the other guy's team, period.
Yeah, yeah,
And surprisingly, because it's close, so our regular season ends a bit after the all-star break, so it
so
ends
that's
early
really
because of
early.
that
That's really early.
because of that situation, because of
Yeah,
that lengthy playoffs.
yeah,
And you'll be surprised that because of injuries, absences due to resting,
yeah,
management, FA movement is actually active.
yeah. In the
Even
play in the playoffs, it's actually well after the All Star break. There are a lot of players who's gonna come out and play. Like tanking teams would showcase some of their
stuff like that. I
bench
mean,
guys, right?
I planned ahead so much so that during the draft, my last pick for the draft of the draft was, and I still haven't dropped him, is Jared Butler, the
Ah,
the rookie of
the
the
rookie. Yeah,
Jazz,
yeah,
who had a great preseason
yep,
and a good summer league, right?
yeah, yeah,
So I go at that point they might be resting already.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
Conley,
well,
Mitchell,
they're gonna rest Conley all throughout the season, but
regardless. All right, fine. We know they're resting Conley.
Donovan, yeah,
They
Donovan
might
should be
be
rested.
resting Mitchell,
Yeah,
and
especially if they,
um,
get their we have a really
exactly,
good record.
exactly. And Joe Ingles is 100 years old. Um,
Yeah,
I'm gambling that he might get some playing time towards the end,
yeah.
and that's how far ahead I was thinking about the draft. So
Well,
I was
no,
thinking
which
about
it's a deep draft, and a lot of the I would assume a lot of the players as well at the low end of the draft are not really, they can help here and there, but they're not gonna be consistent helpers in your team, right?
yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
really
you'll be
gonna
surprised. Okay, like
who's your
earlier,
worst player, but
technically
is
him.
contributing well.
Uh, Worst but
So
contributing
I mean,
well.
yeah, I mean,
That's
good
still
enough, good
playable.
enough. Yeah, I mean,
That I would play.
it's you probably your last pick, but has or late pick,
So
but
it's a toss up
has really moved up the
between
ranks.
it's a toss-up between Kenrich and Bazemore. Bazemore's,
Bazemore.
he was did okay, then starting to suck again. He's
Yeah.
very inconsistent, which I
Yeah.
don't like. I already made some new moves. I picked up Delano Banton
Yeah.
of the Raptors. He was
Yeah.
interesting when he started
Yeah.
getting playing time over Flynn and Dragic.
Yeah.
I go, hey, maybe there's something to him. And maybe back once again, looking far, far ahead, once, well, the Raptors seem to be doing quite well for a team that should be tanking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're tanking right now. I mean, if they are, it's not really obvious
they're
that
not.
they're tanking.
I think they're seeing. I mean, they're at the they're semi good enough that they can take off. They can get wins off some solid teams out there.
Yeah.
They can create upsets.
Commish is here.
Hello.
Hello, sorry for
It's okay. It's okay.
being late.
We're just talking about Eric's 30 team deep, and we're talking about some of the players that he has picked, and he's talking about Banton. He picked up.
Delano
Are you still
Banton.
holding him?
Yeah, I picked him up and I'm holding him.
Yeah.
I think I threw away Troy Brown Jr. to pick him up, so
Which is
that's
fine,
okay.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I thought Troy Brown would have a nice situation in
Chicago.
in Chicago, but bleh. I mean,
I think Troy Brown has never really gotten that. He's always been a player who has, like, everyone's. I think this guy is gonna perform, even in Washington, right? Many expected him to, do some stuff there, but really he wasn't used as much.
but there was this one particular season, or okay, let's call it half season. There was this one post All-Star break period of time when Troy Brown was like rebounding, passing, doing stuff that he was a worthwhile
Yes.
pick. I won't forget that because he was a pickup in like my 14, 16 teamers that he was streamed or at least used for a few weeks. So
Yeah.
I know that he was
He
viable
He can
he
contribute.
was, yeah. So it's there. So that's what led me to believe that maybe the change in team that that there would be.
And
Okay,
Chicago's
guys,
not really a deep team, so he
also,
could.
but and that's why I thought because he's only 22, he's very young actually, and well, it's not panned out. They're putting their money on Derek Jones Jr., which I don't blame them because he's I guess more polished as far as playing under Coach Spoelstra in the past, etc.
Yeah.
Passing through the Blazers, so he's got more mileage under his belt and maybe more mature and decently athletic as well. And at some point, these wing defenders, they're all secondary when you have Alex Caruso, who's like the best wing defender right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get into the questions, because we got a lot of questions already, we want to ask you about certain players, well, kind of the controversial players in the sense that many are thinking
Asking
what's
about-
wrong. I'm
okay,
sure you've heard a lot about these players. Dame Lillard.
Okay.
Dame Lillard has been.
Do you?
Well, what I think Josh Lloyd mentioned that he could have an injury, and I think that's where it's started at least from the
Right.
fantasy circles. Do you think
It's
there is some
possible.
truth to that, or is it just?
I don't know about the injury that Lloyd is talking about. If he's referencing the abdominal,
The abdominal injury.
yeah, but I have not at least from my source gotten any actual confirmation of him officially being injured or seeing a doctor, etc.
Yeah.
So that's speculation as far as I'm concerned.
But
So I can only address the poor play.
the
as
poor
of
play.
now.
Let's talk about the poor
Okay.
play.
There, just rewind from last season. CJ McCollum was a top 9, top 7 player.
Yes.
Dame was, they go, McCollum's better, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
dumb statements like that because he's not. With all due respect to, I mean, I think he's an amazing player, but I still believe that, you're not logo Lillard. I mean, he has a
Yes.
nickname. You don't.
Yep.
I mean, he has a nickname for a freaking reason. Going back to that, Lillard started off slow also. Maybe not this slow, maybe not this bad, but in the end, he recovered and he recovered nicely,
Yeah.
right? So, one thing I tell a lot of people, especially in the early part, different players start off seasons differently.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it could be that at this stage of Lillard's career, he's considered a slow starter. A lot of people, let's say, who are older in the fantasy basketball game, might still remember when Trevor Ariza was a thing. Trevor Ariza was like clockwork crappy from October to December. He will only start playing like a fantasy asset on January.
Yeah.
Something like that. He was a notorious slow
Slow starter.
Always. It's
Yeah.
like I was tracking it. It was like 3 straight seasons he would suck and be dropped. He'd be picked like a flyer pick, then be dropped.
Yeah.
Then he'll end up being picked up sometime late December, early January. Okay, this just goes to show that some people start off hot, some people take time to warm up. There are various reasons. There are some people who start the season not in ideal regular season shape. I mean, they're in shape that's well enough to play basketball, but
not
are
the
they
best shape. Yeah.
correct? And they work themselves into shape as they play games.
Yeah.
Example of which was Jokic's breakout season. They were calling him fat, slow, whatever. It wasn't, it was a slow start, right? If you remember.
Yes.
Then suddenly, boom. He when he finally got, the quote unquote, they were complaining, yeah, his cardio is poor. Oh, cardio this, you're triple double. Your face, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
yeah. And I think it's a long season, and some of the
Yeah.
players don't really work out as much during the off season, or some players don't like to work out as much. They want to take some rest, and then just maybe a few weeks before the season, that's when they start, and that carries on to the early part of the season.
I agree. And I'd say more so now in these times when there's a pandemic. I mean, you'll be less inclined to go to the gym, over the off season during these times when it's dangerous, etc., as opposed to back then when COVID didn't exist. It's a different time. It's a different world that we're living in, and people, behave differently, etc., etc.
How about
But you think
Lillard?
Lillard's gonna end up with the first round value this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh,
maybe
Okay.
Maybe not top 7-ish.
Yeah.
Top 12-ish is still within.
good.
I
Not
mean,
too
he
far.
has a long way to.
Yes.
He has a lot of
Ground to make up.
ground to make up, but it's still. I mean, he just drops back to back 30, 32 point game, diba? It's just you'll easily forget what happened
Yes.
Early
at the
part.
start.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'd still the short answer is I'd consider him still a buy low guy.
Mhm.
And we've
If
seen
that's
lots.
the answer.
We've
that
seen
you're-
lots of really buy low offers already for
And
Lillard
approved deals.
and approved deals and
Sure. Right.
accepted deals. But this guy, the second guy that I want to
Okay.
ask you about, probably there's more concern about this guy, and he did start off well. A second round guy drafted second round, maybe late second round. Now he's injured. Michael Porter Jr. Were you high on Michael Porter Jr.?
Yeah, I was actually. I was. I had a crush on that, high scoring, good field goal, two
Yeah.
threes kind of kit that he had. unfortunately, I I only have one share of Michael Porter Jr.
Luckily.
Luckily, unfortunately, depending on how you look at it. Yes, so I guess you could in the leagues that I compete in, it's very people are very aggressive. They like, if they think that he's gonna be a top 15 guy, they'll pick him at 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they don't care if there's not a lot of profit to be had, but
Yeah.
they just want him because they project him as such.
Yeah.
And as you said, Michael Porter Jr. was projected as a top 20, top 15 to 20 kind of guy. So obviously he was not. He's not shooting at 50 field goal. He's not shooting 20, hitting 20 points per game.
Yep.
He's not doing everything that was kind of
Expected.
promised. So
Yeah.
expected based on last season. I was still willing to attribute it to a slow start, but I'm adding now the factor that he's injured with quote unquote no timetable for return. But just in case a lot of people are unaware that he missed his first season as a pro because
Because of
he
the
came
back
from
problem. Yeah.
he had back surgery, not just he had surgery.
Yes.
So when you have an injury now that's related to his back, so as an expert and a guy who follows news, I'm a bit concerned because I track historical injuries and stuff, and his historical injury is a back injury. It's like saying when you hear that Joel Embiid has a knee injury, you go, "Oh my God, oh no!"
Yeah.
It's those sore knees that are sore every night, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
that's
yes.
problem. It's like there are problem areas for players, and in MPJ's case, it's the back. That's the one injury you don't want
You don't want to hear. But
yes, and so it's a bit
do you
scary in that sense.
You think you can still, if you don't have him, would you still trade for him, a buy low, or you probably would just stay away?
I would offer something like really cheap crud.
How cheap is
Sean
cheap?
How cheap is cheap?
whatever.
Jason
Jason
Tate.
Tate.
Jason Tate.
Okay,
or
Jason
something.
Tate.
I mean, hey, but don't. That was hard for me because I really am high on Tate. I think he's had some
Yeah, we
nice
like him
games.
too. We like him too. Jason Tate.
I think he's there's something about him that he is. Sorry to divert from MPJ because I'm
No, it's
talking
okay.
about
No, it's
Tate,
okay. It's okay.
there was something when I read about from an interview. He was very thankful because he wasn't expecting his contract to be given to him, and
Yes.
he was in his position, and he wants to repay the Rockets organization with the hardest work. I mean, there's something about players with that kind of mindset that they want to do their best, and it will show on the court, especially if you're a hustle stats kind of guy.
Yes.
It will translate.
Yeah.
As opposed to people who don't want to play for your team because you want to be traded. Come on. Wake the hell
Ben
up. You
Simmons.
know your name. As The Rock says, know your role and pass the ball. Play PG. No, I'm not going to say any mean words because,
So
he
I have a
has
question with
mental
Tate since-
issues.
Since you already mentioned Tate, who would you
yeah,
rather have?
sure.
You'd rather have Tate or Marcus Smart?
Tate.
Really?
Okay. Marcus Smart is unhappy. He doesn't. Well,
Actually, Marcus
Yeah.
Smart is not playing well.
He's off.
not.
I mean,
There's
Okay,
he's
Marcus
not as
Smart-
good as before. Let's just
there's
put
been
it
a bit
like-
of a decline
yeah,
over the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
2 seasons, and you've noticed that, right?
yeah,
There was a period that we loved Smart because he'll give you 5.5 to 6 assists,
Steals.
1.5 steals,
Yeah.
1.3 threes.
Yeah.
And
And
even
some
when
rebounding,
we'd
yeah.
swallow the bad field goal,
Yeah.
free throw, whatever. And he had good field goal before. It was his free throw that was the bad issue. Good
Yeah.
rebounding. All of that is gone. It's not
yeah.
it's not there, and it's consistently not there.
Yeah,
And and in fairness to his point when he spoke out about the situation,
Yeah.
the situation, and maybe with the way that the Celtics have set up their
New
style of
offense.
play
Yeah.
or offense, whatever, that he is unable to showcase those, stats with the way that things are. Because once you get the ball, pass it to a Jalen or a Jason. I mean,
ISO ball.
ice the ball there. I mean, your job is to bring the ball from the other end of the court,
Yes.
bring it here.
Yeah.
It's like the point guard of LeBron.
Yeah.
All his job is to bring down the ball, give it to LeBron, then LeBron. It's kind of that situation to some extent. Give the ball to Tatum or Brown. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
Yeah.
it diminishes his role. So my thinking now is that if he's in a diminished role, he's unhappy, he's not playing well, it's not conducive for upside. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes
Tate,
sense.
on the other hand, this Rockets team doesn't care. They have no ambition. They're not expecting or thinking or believing that they stand a chance of sniffing the play-in tournament.
Yep.
Right? So you want to get as much time for your players. And hey, he's my only concern about Tate is that they have a lot of redundant guys that are Tate-like. Danwell House,
Yeah.
David Nwaba. You have athletic wings.
Yes, that's true.
So that's, to me, the biggest drawback of Tate, that there are redundancies to his role, right? And, there was some concern that, Jalen Green would command so many touches. Yeah, command your touch. Because in the end, that Tate doesn't need a lot of plays designed for him in order for him to be effective.
Yeah, he's a hustle guy. He can rebound,
He's
follow
a
up.
hustle guy.
He's a hustle guy, and he can contribute across the board, and he's showed it.
Exactly.
I mean, he started a little bit slow, which concerned us a bit, but when he was inserted in the starting lineup and then started some good games, I think hopefully.
And we're
it-
gonna expect Eric Gordon and the others to get injured somehow.
Or as
So-
usual, quote unquote.
Yes,
yeah, even
yeah,
Daniel
that's-
House, right? So it's really not a threat to his playing time.
Yeah,
so
Danwell
far.
House just came back after a lengthy absence, and Tate still played reasonably well.
Yeah.
I think that the part of the appeal, I mean, from a fantasy manager's point of view, he's someone who can potentially give me that 1-1-1 that I crave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's that glue guy that he was late round anyway. He's gonna give me 1-1-1. He's gonna help me everywhere. So if I'm let's say punting blocks, I don't care. He gave that chance to give me 1-3, 1 steal, maybe 5 boards and 3 assists. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with that.
he's
He
like
was a late pick.
Dorian Finney-Smith type of guy, the one that can give
With
you
higher upside, actually.
Yeah,
Because he
Yeah.
scored like 20 points in that other
the
game.
other day, yes,
Yeah, I mean, hello, this is
He's
your
got-
role
he's-
player.
he probably
He's
has,
dropping 20 points.
and he'll probably have more usage here and there than Dorian.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
Dorian would have
That-
the more minutes, maybe, but
Because
the
he's-
usage won't
The
be as much.
difference, okay, the difference, Dorian Finney-Smith has, become a catch and shoot kind of guy.
Yeah,
He defends. So he's a true
3-and-D.
3-and-D guy.
yeah,
On offense, he's catch and shoot only, almost exclusively. On defense, you're, harass the best player on the other team because, Luka and Kristaps don't really play defense like that,
Yeah.
or at all for that matter. But, I mean, to be fair, I'm not joking. DFS is their best defender. in
Yeah,
this
they-
kind of
they is,
starting
they is,
lineup.
yeah.
For sure.
No, I mean, that's no shade, but that's, just
He is, he is.
facts.
Yeah.
Just facts. So it's different. Tate, on the other hand, is do everything I can to help.
Yeah.
So that's different. That's
Yeah.
a different kind of player, which leads you to more opportunities for, I would say, more explosive stat lines
Yeah.
in the given the right opportunity. Because
Mhm.
no matter what the opportunity you give DFS, he will probably pop off for maybe an
Probably
18-point game. I
the-
mean, it can. But I
the-
think Tate, it will happen more often for Tate and at a higher caliber because that's just the way he is in the setup. Yeah.
yeah, right.
You alluded to him. I get it in the sense that he is somebody who can give you a 1-1-1.
Yeah.
I get that. But And while I agree,
The
again,
ceiling of
Tate has the
Tate,
better upside.
yeah,
Yes.
the ceiling of Tate is higher compared to DFS.
And again, that's why I would rather have Tate. And that's
Yeah.
why.
All right, let's get into some questions first.
Okay.
We've got some viewers here. Marta Maria, John Nico Ferreira, some of our regular viewers. George Santa Ana, first question. This is an easy one, just a warm-up question. Tony Bradley, worth picking up over Josh
How deep?
Richardson.
How deep?
How deep is this? Probably 14. Let's say in a 14 team.
And if you
Streamer, right?
need this, more of a streamer at that depth, but if you're really desperate for a center, I wouldn't mind picking him up over Josh. I mean, Josh Richardson, yeah, is cool. I mean, he will drop off when Brown returns.
Yeah.
And that's suddenly he's going to be crap again. And Schroeder is taking most of the minutes anyway. And you have to wait until Schroeder gets benched because of his turnovers or fouls or whatever stupid thing he's doing. But Bradley will have minutes. I mean, in 30 deep, Alize Johnson was picked up, for crying out loud, which I think is there's a bit of sneaky upside there because Alize can run the floor better, and because Bradley is more of the prototypical lumbering big guy
center. Yes.
Yeah, rebounds, blocks. I can't really run.
And
so
go.
Komish.
So you'd rather have Alize than Tony Bradley?
Short term,
I
Tony
think
Bradley.
If I need blocks, I'd probably go for Bradley. But if I need other things, maybe Alize. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell right now because surprisingly, and this is no joke, because DeMar DeRozan is playing so well, they might be able to do small ball and work it out.
Yeah.
Ironically, the biggest beneficiary is not the backup to Vucevic. It's gonna be guys like DeMar DeRozan, who's already killing it.
Yeah. Or they could use.
That's an example.
Derek Jones more.
Maybe, but again, more of a wing really. So we're expecting a guy to start. Okay, my point is there was a time that was this Bam Adebayo was like missed the game, right?
Yeah.
They started Dwayne Dedmon. He didn't do much either.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Just because a player is expected to be the fill-in, it's not the same as football. The impact, because the backups in gridiron football I know here in the Philippines, for example, football, soccer is
the American. Is it the American football?
American gridiron, the proper gridiron football. When a player gets injured there in that sport, automatically the backup becomes an auto pickup because he's gonna produce value close to what you're missing, because their backups are actually good and might be starters in other teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bradley is not a starter in any other team anywhere.
He won't.
Maybe the G League. I mean, no offense, but and my concern with Bradley, he doesn't fit the style of the way the Bulls are. I mean, he's gonna be a good rim protector. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes to running, like Lonzo wants to run, and he's running alongside Levine. What, Bradley's just gonna stand there and wait until the ball comes back?
I think we talked about something like this yesterday in our quickie. This is the reason why we felt like Daniel Gafford is struggling in Washington's, because he can't run with the other guys. They're playing small, and that's probably one. I think there's some similarities there that Bradley could not do it as well.
I agree. The Wizards led the league in pace last year. Well, fine, mostly thanks to Russell Westbrook pushing the pace, because he's really fast player and he can bring down the ball from one side to the other really, really fast. But even with him out, they have the personnel to make it work. And yes, that's part of the reason why Gafford is probably, because he's closer to a slower pace, I'll rebound the ball, block shots, that kind of guy. But it's just, and that's why he's young. He can still run, and they try to make him run. But
And
in
that's
the
why
end,
Harold is playing really well because he can run.
and I told you he was a sleeper during our
Yeah.
Yes.
post draft.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I named a few back then. That was like Harold,
Bane.
Desmond Bain at the
Bain,
time.
yeah.
Remember who I picked up in our league, but Dylan Brooks is ruining my party. But all
Well, I
right,
was gonna
it's
ask you
okay.
about that, but listeners would probably be saying they wish they heard those conversations we had.
Yeah, we
They would
weren't
have.
able to record it, but yeah,
Hey,
it was
that's
those are nice
that's why it was
conversations.
just between us. So
Yeah.
no off the
You know
Uh,
what? Let's.
record.
I'll ask about Desmond Bain. Are you worried? Do you think
A
he's the
little.
guy who's gonna be coming off the bench? Because I think it's Melton. I think it's Melton.
I think it's Melton, but Melton is fine off the bench. It's all right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Of course, Melton will take a hit, but I think that he will not force as many shots as he is right now because he's had a few games where he forces too many shots.
yeah.
He's trying to do too much, and if he's with the second unit, he'll have more freedom to
Mm.
to explore stuff along with Kyle Anderson, etc., etc. So I think it's an okay move for Melton because Melton and why he was so good, people, at the start of the season is prior to becoming a starter, he was arguably in the top 30 best options of players who have great per minute value.
Yep.
During the time that
Yes.
limited minutes, he as a guard can give you a 1-1-1. How crazy is that?
Yep.
And he as a guard can give you, the
Even as
rebounds
a
you want
backup,
from us.
even as a
Yeah.
off the bench guy,
And
he
even
can
as
do
a
that.
backup. But off the bench, he might be, there was a time that he was back up to Jamorant, but it's gonna be hard to back up Jamorant now because Jamorant is exploded.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the people who invested in Jamorant shares. I was not one of them. I was not
Me neither.
I was not a believer. So because I was worried because the gap was so far. But that happened to
Yes.
me. Okay. To speak candidly to the listeners and the viewers, I mean, even as an expert, I make mistakes when I project. Like, there was the time that I made the same mistake judging De'Aaron Fox from his rookie year, or was it his sophomore year? I mean, there was this time that I wasn't high on him because the gap was so far. Because he
Yeah.
was playing outside the top 250, for example. And I go, no, he has to improve in so many areas in order to be decent. But then
Yeah.
Ja Morant improved in all the areas he needed to. But again, it could be a hot start. But it's not just a hot start in his case. I think it's a legitimate leap. But we might be seeing the initial burst. And teams will adjust to him. He will be defended better. And we will see a bit of a pullback in those crazy numbers. The numbers will be better, but the numbers will be less crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
The counting numbers, the counting stats.
He's not gonna finish the season as the league leader in points, people. No.
Yeah.
So if you have him and you have somebody who thinks he will finish, sell high now.
Sell for a
But
day.
he's gonna be
Sell for
he's
a
gonna
day.
be good. Yeah, huh?
Dame
No.
Lillard.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Right?
I'll take Lillard anytime for my Morant. Good.
Here's a trade question. Rondell Brigino, one of our participants as well in some of our leagues, traded Hayward and Franz Wagner for Jaren Jackson and Fournier.
That's okay. In this rookie class, I have two. I mean, after seeing their stats, right? I have two mad crushes who I will probably follow from seasons to come. That's Evan Mobley and Franz Wagner. Wagner, I love Wagner. I am not afraid of Chuma Okiki. I'm not afraid. I mean, he's just no. I think Wendell Carter Jr. owners should be because he plays PF exclusively, and currently Wendell Carter Jr. is playing the PF slot.
Yeah.
But anyway, Wagner and Hayward, they are easier to build around. Okay. But as a fanboy of JJJ, I can see where he's coming from. I'm I am still a believer that he can hit the top 25 maybe at some point. I'm not sure if he'll finish as a top 25, but he might hit a spread of games or maybe a couple of weeks that he will, shoot that window that he'll be crazy good. Because again,
So you like the
in ref,
J side more?
not
Two crushes. These are two crushes of Erik.
yeah, I know.
JJ
But
Franz Wagner.
to me, I would have rather kept the two guys that he gave up.
Okay.
Hayward
In
and
this,
and Wagner.
they're easier to build around. Neither of them have any real drawbacks as far as I'm concerned. And if there are, they're minor. And but JJJ is a negative to your field goal, right? Which is terrible from a center. But I think he can play well, and I think the move. I own one share of Gordon Hayward. I'm enjoying it. He's playing really well.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head, he's the guy every season
Will not finish the season.
will not finish due to
He'll
some
get
weird
injured.
ass catastrophic season ending,
Yeah.
whatever. So from that point of view, it's okay. I can see why you might want to exit that position and roll the dice. But you're trading stability for upside. So I can see where you're coming from. It's
All right.
I'll say we'll only see if it was a good move at the end, right?
Yeah.
And again,
So
we've
it's-
always said it. On face value, these you really can't tell a trade if who's winning there until you plug them into your lineup and see what happens. Because sometimes the fit and all of these, we've always talked about that in our quickies. All right, next question. George Santana has a question. Shake Milton, is he a hold? Let's say you're a 14 team.
Oh, I'd rather stream him the slot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. If I had him, I wouldn't be too attached.
Yeah.
To him. Okay. I'm
Ride him while you can.
ride him while he's playing well. But if there's somebody who, let's say, dropped someone that you want to pick up, don't feel, because what's happening now, we are seeing the emergence and the blossoming of Tyrese Maxey.
Mhm.
My money's on Maxey, and the better that Maxey plays, the lesser minutes are going to be left for Milton because they share that point guard
guard.
position.
Yeah.
It's almost, you're not going to see them on the court together that often, if ever at all. So, I hold for now. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Right,
don't
I think-
hesitate. Don't get too attached. Just feel free to, don't. It's not like don't let this guy go because he's so good that I can't drop him. But
Yeah, don't get too attached.
No.
Sometimes,
yeah.
if you found the gem, you feel like I want to hold on to this player because I found him. But in reality, in the long run, this player won't really help you as much. So don't get too attached to the idea.
Since you were laughing at him, I would rather hold Chuma Okiki over Shake Milton there, just to throw some, something
So if
controversial.
I've seen some Chuma Okiki on some 14 team leagues being dropped already. So
Yeah, sure.
at least you get
All right.
some.
He started off injured. I mean, it was a hip injury. I've had a painful hip in the past, and you can't move. It hurts. It's really bad.
How about Isaac? Don't you think Isaac might also figure in that rotation with Orlando? Or
Well, is he gonna play anytime soon? I don't even know.
that's yeah.
He's gonna finish the season.
Okay. Hey, look what happened last season. We had two guys with coming off MCL injuries. That was Porzingis and JJJ, right?
Yes.
So it was so you go, I know he's gonna be good when he comes back. I'll hold. It's March. That's when JJJ comes back. We held him. He's a stupid hold, right? If
Yes,
you're looking back,
yes.
he became a stupid. For all we know, Jonathan Isaac could be a stupid hold. There's so many potentials for quote unquote, in hindsight, stupid holds like Kyrie Irving or Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
All of those stupid holds because
Boy, I have
you're-
Kyrie Irving.
what
Ano,
it could
stuck in one
what-
league.
is he an IL eligible guy? I mean, you know what? I don't even know because he was auto excluded from my drafts. Period. And that was before
the season.
he started before he declined vaccines. I just didn't like the head case situation with him.
Right.
Regardless of his per game numbers. I go, fine, someone has him. I'll bite the bullet. I'll probably lose to that team on a weekly basis. I don't give a toot, but I don't want the headache. There's certain players I've been playing this game so long. I just want to have players I like, players that don't give me headache.
Yeah.
All right. So
if there's a red flag, stay away already.
Yeah. So, but I drafted. Speaking of like going back, that Gordon Hayward is a red flag guy, technically speaking. But if you're getting him in the 90s, 80s,
that's fine.
That's kind of offsets the red flag, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's priced in. I'm not. He can produce top 50 value, but if I paid a top 80, an 80-ish pick, okay,
that's okay. That's okay.
You play until Feb for me, and okay, I'll pick someone up after that. He'll get me enough wins that the pick I paid for it. In the end, the people who picked, let's say, Isaac in the 80s, they'll be lucky if they get to see Isaac by Feb or January or whenever, or playing at the level that Hayward is contributing now. It's just the inverse, the reverse, right?
Yeah.
So I'm playing Hayward now well, but if he drops off, it's okay. And I know what I paid for in terms of investment of draft pick, and that's what this game is about.
Another question from Adrian Cruz. Trade value of Westbrook.
Okay. Here, I wrote a blurb on him just the other day. It's either you like him and are into the triple-double thing and love it, or you hate him because he kills your percentages and TOs. Yeah. Now, that trade value makes very different. There's no middle ground. It's either you love the triple doubles and you're gonna ride those 3 stats and crush the league with others supplements, let's say in blocks or threes, whatever, and build around Westbrook that way. That's fine. There will be people like that, and trade value for those people are high. They will give you quality players for that because it's their thing.
Yeah. So you have to find those.
Somebody who is built on guys who own Gordon Hayward and Franz Wagner, they don't want Russell Westbrook because everything that Hayward and Wagner are doing will just be thrown to the garbage by Westbrook in one game. The TOs, the
percentages.
Okay, so that guy will not want Westbrook. He goes, even if you pay for my buy, I don't want your freaking Westbrook. Keep him away from my team because I'm gonna lose, right? So it's very polarizing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that makes it hard to trade.
In the sense, but if you are I just play in too many leagues that it's hard to do it one by one. But I know people who like play in 2 or 3 leagues. They have the time to approach, message guys. Hey, I noticed that. Let's say, dude, your punt free throw. Would you like my Westbrook? Since
Yes.
But let's say, dude, you have Giannis. Do you want Westbrook to pair with him? Oh, all right. The guy starts to that there are certain teams that Westbrook will fit in fantasy, even in head-to-head. Then take the time. That's what I'd say to the viewer. Take the time, approach the teams that are a fit for Westbrook, and try to get a good quality player that fits your new strategy. Because by getting rid of Westbrook, it will drastically shift how your team performs.
Yeah.
You're going to lose a lot of boards, assists, and points.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to get improvements in the other areas.
Yeah. Like
and in some cases, it's like Kevin Porter Jr., right? I mean, some people, when you just mention the name Kevin Porter Jr., they would say, reject. don't even say your trade offer anymore. Or I've talked to some managers who said that they're okay with the deal, but if they add Kevin Porter Jr. as a +1, the other manager would just rather have no +1 if it's Kevin Porter Jr. So it's the same with...
He becomes like a net negative. So
yes, a net negative.
Yeah. Yes. So, okay. He's a very good example. I'm in a 16-team league with somebody who was who built his team on efficiency ideal. I mean, his planned efficiency towards he was a late pick. I mean, to be fair, he was just a sheer value pick at the time. He was second to the last round kind of pick. But his early picks were Vucevic and MPJ. I mean, the build at the time. I mean, pre performance.
Yeah.
It was, you know, field goal, free throw, points, threes, boards. Then KPJ happened and was effing up his team, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So in the group chat on Facebook, every day at around 45 to an hour and a half intervals, KPJ up would pop up as an alert. So, you know, it's like the food vendor here in the Philippines that goes around
selling their
shouts
KPJ.
their taho. It's like clockwork in that sense. So, but he was able to move KPJ finally after weeks of, you know, early nagging and whatnot. So he found a trade partner. He got Kelly Oubre. Not so bad.
Yeah, not so bad.
That was during the Terry Rozier absences when Kelly Oubre was hot. Still, Kelly Oubre is now fluctuating.
He's still hot. He's like scored what 30 the other day, right?
It happens, and I'm trying to separate correlation and causation, but ever since Rozier came back, Miles Bridges is also not playing as fantastic as he was, right?
Yeah.
You might have noticed that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's really necessarily a causation kind of thing, but probably just correlation. But there, yeah, KPJ is untouchable, right? So
yeah.
Yes.
If you were now, so to answer the question, Westbrook, just look for the team that would fit him, that would contribute
a niche
to that
market.
Yeah,
yes.
it's the niche.
Yes.
So there's probably just in your league,
is
there's
good
probably just
within
one or
that
two
small
teams.
niche. Yes.
There's probably just one or two teams there that you can
like
offer.
there was this guy
Westbrook.
who drafted Luka at 3, like in the 4th round. He picked up Westbrook and he already had Chris Paul. So his core of guards is crazy good in terms of the rebounds, the steals,
Assists.
the assists. So he goes, Luka is iffy at best in free throw. You can opt to punt. So he has good field goal, but Westbrook also hurts him there. But, between those 3 guards, it's already a headache. And that guy, fine, he murdered me not because of those 3 guards. I was doing okay. I was supposed to win, but it's Carmelo Anthony who murdered me on that last game of that Sunday when he like blocked 4 shots and scored 20 points. I don't know, but going back, there is a specific market, and that market will be good. It's just reaching out and finding the right people.
Yeah. Frederick Maranan asking LaMarcus Aldridge for the verse.
But veto. And I just kidding. What do you mean?
He's getting Levert. I'm not sure if
take it, but I don't know if that'll pass veto though.
He's worried about Levert's injury. Actually, he's getting Levert, but he's kind of worried because of, I think that lowers that's why the offer was that because the injury concerns about Levert is always there, right?
Okay, and fine. I blurbed this, guys.
But
check out
with that
deal, I
check out
clarified this in the blurb. That I clarified this in the blurb after I read something and I shared it with our readers, that it was made clear by the coach that it's due to soreness and not re-injury. That's a big deal. That's a huge world of difference. It's not like he banged it and hurt it again and you're expecting a setback in terms of a lengthy time. It just hurts at the moment. Kind of like Aiton. Okay. Here's the thing, right? If you studied Levert's history, he's one of those slow healers. There are some players who recover more slowly than others. He's one of those. Which is a bad combination. He's both injury prone and a slow healer.
Yeah.
But he's great per game, right? So okay, we'll give him that. On sheer upside, I take Liver.
Yeah.
If you, especially if the league has an IL or IL plus slot, shove him there. Because in the end, as good as LaMarcus is playing now, as the 0.5 of the big 2.5 that
They have.
the Nets are, because, I mean, sorry, I can't call him a 3, right? He's not a
Yes.
full superstar, right? But hey, a 20-point game here and there, solid percentages, blocks, you're 0.5 of a superstar, right? All right. At least as far as getting wins for the Nets are concerned. So, but my point is, the guy's gonna get load management sits, and that's gonna bug you. All right, that's gonna bug you to no end when you
Yes.
need it.
Eventually, you might even have to drop LaMarcus at certain
Maybe,
points. Yeah,
but
right.
Blake Griffin is just too crap, right? Okay, remember, folks, Nick Claxton is currently not playing. He hasn't been playing in a while. He was starting before.
Yeah.
They might start him again when he comes back. It's just that he's dealing with an infection that's not COVID related, but it's a bad infection and it's taking time for him to heal. So that means nothing's broken, strained, or sprained, etc. So once whatever it is that he gets through is done, and he gets his cardio back, he can be there. And I know he had a shaky start, but the talent is there for him to run. Okay, he can run. Okay, unlike, let's say, Gafford is a slower player. Claxton can run, and he can work out as. I mean, he wasn't blocking shot. People were hoping that he'd give you 6.5, 7.5 boards, 1.5 blocks. Call it a day. That kind of thing. That can still be there at some point before the season's over, right?
Yeah.
It's people gave up on Claxton a bit early, but I understand because of the injury, he was dropped almost everywhere. That's cool, but that might eat into the time that they go, hey, Claxton's playing well enough. Okay, if I were Steve Nash, I don't want to give LaMarcus Aldridge too many minutes. He's 100 years old. I want to stay for the playoffs. I think we can make the playoffs. I'm Steve Nash. I'm thinking we're going to make the playoffs. Kevin Durant is going to carry us. James Harden is going to sort his bad start out because he's that good, etc. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to need Aldridge.
Yep.
Especially if
that's where they
still not playing.
That's where they really need him, LaMarcus, in the playoffs, because that's where he has the experience. He has the he's been there, and
in the playoffs, in the playoffs, games slow down. So I guess
don't want to burn him out now because yes, correct. That's a good insight. But when it comes to the playoffs, it's more grindy because defense is more serious.
Yes.
Then you will have more, slow half-court sets.
Yeah.
And hell, even at his age, he's got those moves. And as a center of that age with the ability to hit a mid-range jumper, that's gold, right?
Yeah.
You have a 7-footer who can hit a mid-range jumper, relatively consistently. That's gold. You don't want to miss that when the playoffs come.
All right.
So that's okay. Good deal. That's fine. Take Liver.
Take Liver. All right. This one, a quick one. Who to stash in IL, Sexton or Isaac? Jonathan Isaac by Paul Tundao. Isaac. So that you can. Yeah. Is Sexton a drop at this point if you don't have?
I dropped him in my 16-team auction league. I spent a good deal of fantasy salary on him, but I had to drop him. Well, he was quote unquote, bad to start the season, but I unfortunately had to drop him. There were too many. It's hard now. You have to be ready to drop guys who even perform, who can give you 20 plus points per game. I only have one IL slot, and it's currently being occupied by Matisse Thybulle. And who would you rather keep? Matisse Thybulle or Colin Sexton? Let me ask you guys.
Thybulle.
Right? So 1, 2, 3, go, right? So no question. Yeah. So I'd rather.
How about this? Olynyk, no IL. Do you still keep him or
6 weeks head to head? Hell no. Drop. No.
That's for me.
I mean, drop.
This one.
Wait. My question is, you drop him. Who are you scared of is going to pick him up anyway? You'd want somebody to pick him up because they're going to be at a disadvantage, right?
True.
Okay. Yeah.
True.
That's why. So 6 weeks. You'll find somebody else by then.
6 weeks at least. I think that will be more than 6 weeks.
Okay.
I have a feeling it's more than 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be reevaluated, and if it's great, then you know that you'll be soon. But if it's not great, it'll be extended. So drop it. There.
The Aaron Fox, you mentioned him a while ago. Do you think he still goes top 30 this year?
Yeah,
top 40.
I think it's possible.
Top 40.
Yeah.
Top 40, possible.
30,
but top 30.
Peak. That's probably his peak.
Yeah.
He'll run a string of weeks, maybe, that he'll be top 25, and that'll pull the needle that way. But top 40 is easy.
Yeah, that was a question by Irvin Leo Villanueva. And then Mark Heinrich Marcelo, droppable. Is MPJ droppable at this point?
Wow. What do you mean?
If no IL. Let's say no IL.
No,
so this one's a tougher one.
No. Because there will always be somebody else. It's all a matter of who you want in exchange, but somebody will trade for him.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the back issue.
Because there will be some I know it takes a lot of work, and there was a time earlier in my career, long ago, when I used to play. If you painstakingly take the time to reach out and communicate, you can get some good deals done. So even if you want to drop him, the point is why drop him when you can trade for a player who is better than the average player that you can pick up. On the wire anyway.
Yeah.
So even if you're quote unquote selling, you were gonna drop him. So there's nothing selling low anymore, right?
Yeah.
You're not getting anything in exchange aside from a waiver guy who would have been streamed anyway, right? Depending on the depth of your league. But if there's somebody out there, let's say, who's gonna give you a Jay Sean Tate, who's better than any pickup you're gonna find right now, let's say.
Yeah.
Or let's say
might just take that.
Or even you might be happy with a I don't know.
That's a pretty low end
hard.
already. I think.
Yeah,
for Mike,
the market, you could get still someone better.
Yeah,
Fournier.
Yeah,
even better. I think you could still get someone better.
I blindly give Evan Fournier for an injured Michael Porter Jr. I will not. Do not pass go. Do not. I will take that. It's okay. Fournier's not bad. All right. I mean, I didn't mean that in a bad way for Fournier, because he's playing well, but his ceiling is very clear. He will only give me value up to a certain point. Yeah. I know MPJ, assuming he does sort out his issues, can hit top 25 value, once he's going. Yeah. And let's say the belief, and again, we'll validate it once it's all said and done, but the belief is he'll get to that point. He'll get back to that point.
Yeah. What players like Harrell, for example?
What?
For
Don't
MPJ.
Mess with my Harrell. What?
Would you like?
Would I take Harrell? Or what? Will I offer?
Would you take Harrell? Would you take Harrell for an MPJ?
Yeah, of course.
Probably. I don't know. It's close. I'm tempted.
Because if we talk about Fournier, that's so low end already, right?
Harrell is actually.
I'm just trying to test how high can an MPJ go in a trade.
At this point.
Yeah, at this point.
At
this point, trade market, like a Harrell, for example, would you accept a Harrell for your MPJ? Who's playing well? Like I think he's top 30, 40 right now.
Yeah. Well, okay. So just to qualify and for the viewers, the top 30, 40 you're speaking of is over 12 games, 10 or 12 games, right? And,
but a lot of
X amount of those games were without Gafford also. So only half of those are valid as far as him coming off the bench. So it's a bit skewed on a small sample size.
Yeah.
So will he finish top 30, 40?
No.
No,
definitely not.
No, right?
But again.
But then MPJ was not even close to top. He's more like 130, 140, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, which is, you're getting 100 ranks worth of value. No. Oh, okay.
Did I make it too hard?
I will explain my situation.
Yeah, go.
I love the Wizards because of their schedule for the fantasy playoffs, because of that 4-4-4.
Mhm.
Part of me is inclined to but Denver has, I think, 11 games also, maybe. But no.
Still no.
No. Okay. If I am approached by the Harrell owner, I'm MPJ owner, I will not do it 1-for-1. I will
Package
for a 2
another
for
player.
2.
Yeah.
And I will make sure I win in the kicker to offset
Yeah.
the upside return.
Okay.
There. Then we're going a bit deeper into
Yeah,
the trade,
that's good. That's good. Yeah.
builds, right? So that's it's part of the strategy. It's hard to match guys'
One-on-one, yes.
one-on-one based on now versus future.
Yeah.
It's really tough. And something like that might even get vetoed in a certain league because
Yeah.
they might and it could be on either side because no way it's right for MPJ owner, or no, it's not right for the Harrell owner.
Yeah,
So it
true.
will be it's because people look at trades from a different angle. They
Yeah.
go, he's playing top 30, 40 level is the reasoning, right?
Yeah.
But then
Mhm.
the guy goes, no, I'm selling a guy who can be top 20, but is not right now. So
Yeah.
that's something that will be
So just package them in
yes.
trade.
And I will win the kicker. Then I might sleep better at night. Okay, I lost. If I'm committed to moving past him because he's hurting my team too much, yeah, I'll do something like that. Sure.
Boucher. Chris Boucher.
Boucher.
Another
Wow.
controversial player. I've seen leagues where he's been dropped
not
already.
earlier. Not
Yeah,
last
not
night.
today.
Yeah, not today. That's why he's being picked up right now.
But
What's
as
your
I
take? Is it today? Was today a fluke?
Yes and no. I mean, okay. Yes, it is in the sense that he's had the track record for inconsistency. He will pop up good and bad. That's really his thing. He'll play well and play bad, play well, play bad. But it could be the start of a trend that, he'll start playing better and not be relegated to 5-7 minutes per game anymore.
Yeah.
Depending. It's going to be on and off, hit or miss. And that was part of the big frustration with Boucher last season, right? And we went through that. I mean, I was a naysayer last season, and I ate my words when he started playing well. But the people who held him were getting frustrated because they would lose certain weekly matchups because Boucher was not playing up to Boucher level. But then, what did you really spend on him as far as draft pick was concerned? It's there. He is a guy who can do more than a 1-1-1 with great percentages.
Yeah.
Right? He is, assuming he did it every game, he is a roto machine. He's a well-oiled roto machine. He shoots free throws well. He can shoot 50 plus from the field. Threes, steals, blocks, boards. Maybe assists is his only. He does not turn the ball over. For somebody with quote-unquote poor basketball IQ, he has low turnovers. It's not because he turns the ball over. It's because he gets lost in the play. That's why the coach, what the hell are you doing? Go to the bed. Sit down. Precious. My precious.
Precious, 1 out of 10 precious.
Okay.
A center who can shoot.
Okay. Precious is a work in progress. I mean, let's.
Yeah, he's young. He's second year sophomore player.
Yeah, he's only a sophomore. It's just that people go, hey, new team, you're not playing behind Bam Adebayo anymore. You have a chance to do well. I mean, people got they fell in love in summer league. Do not,
But I think in fairness to Precious Achua, other than the field goal, the others are not too bad.
They were hoping
the rebounding, the defensive stats are okay.
Rebounds,
it's just the field goal that's killing his fantasy value.
Field goals are very bad.
Because he is trying his best to attempt more threes. And that wasn't part of his kit to start with in his rookie season. It's something that he's trying to develop during games, not just during practice, during games. And that's why he'll end up missing them because he's not used to it's not
better
it's
than
not
that
like,
one guy who don't want to shoot.
Well, yeah, or the one. Okay, It's funny how we can joke about people who don't want to do things. You guys, you've been playing long enough. You remember the time that DeMar DeRozan didn't want to shoot threes.
Yes.
And look at him now, baby. Look at him now. So he is again. And that's from a analyst or expert's point of view. And I listen to the interviews and stuff, and you have to filter out what's chatter and what's just blab. He went into the Bulls saying, "I will do whatever they need from me."
Yeah.
And that's, he's at that stage in his career now. I want to win, right? I want to get somewhere, and I like the promise of this young team, etc., etc. So if the coach says shoot threes, DeMar is shooting threes. He goes defend, DeMar is defending. Rebound, DeMar. Okay, that's, he's been around. He's been like scoring leader, scoring 30 plus points nightly. He's done it all except shoot threes, obviously. But you know what I mean? He's been a great passer and everything.
Yeah. So let's go back to Boucher. Boucher is a hold in a 14 team for you.
Okay, this is what's gonna happen. Regardless if I say hold, he will be dropped because he's gonna sit again.
Yes.
Okay? So whatever I say doesn't really matter. He's gonna come up with 2 straight games that will be like 5-7 minutes, and he'll be dropped. So expect him to be added and dropped. Like yeah, it's just expect that. So if you
not
can
a long-term hold, I guess. Not a long. Don't expect him to be a long-term guy.
Let's say he was dropped and you pick him up. If the rest of your team is solid anyway and they can carry you, and assuming that consider him like an injured guy who's not playing in a dead slot. And if your team, the rest of your guys can carry you, fine. And when he shows up and he's gravy and he's win more, that's cool. But if you can't take it and you have other injured guys, don't. That's just as simple as that. Right. So he will be added and dropped. Well, hold, it's not really going to happen. He will be dropped.
All right, here. Let me see. Kemba Walker, rest of the season. Is he going to be this bad? You feel like there's room for him to improve in his current game because he's playing really bad.
Okay, for a guy who's supposed to give objective opinions based on numbers, I'm a very biased analyst. I don't like Kemba. He was excluded from my fantasy drafts. I mean, I didn't want any Kemba.
Even any piece of Kemba.
Even after 150, I was not gonna pick Kemba.
Even after 150?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
He was, way up there just before Kyrie Irving. Before I would pick Kyrie. I mean, no way. No, but okay. The short of it, I don't trust his knees. And that's not even how he's playing, right? Weirdly enough, there's something to be said when in a game, somebody like Derrick Rose will outplay you. What the hell are you doing, man? What the hell?
Rose is good.
Well, people think Kemba is good, right?
Yes.
Kemba was good.
Picked and when? Well, okay, yes, correct. But that was during the Charlotte days.
Yeah.
And
he was.
That was so long ago.
Late last year, he was okay.
Okay. Yeah. If for you guys here who also might have listened to Dan Besbris's pod, the Fantasy NBA Today, he talked about Kemba, and this is where we as experts sometimes diverge. He goes at some point, maybe past the top 150, his value, regardless of his injury risk, so and so and so. I will go, no, I don't want headaches. Okay. Kemba is gonna be a headache. Maybe not as bad, let's say, as Boucher, right? But he's gonna give you headaches in the sense that he's almost guaranteed to miss time. Even they say that he won't, he will. With the way Thibs plays his players, it's really high usage, high.
Yep.
The wear and
high
tear
minutes,
high minutes.
Yeah.
It's really gonna eat up at Kemba's knees. And there will be games that he will, suck like this. He's not gonna be as good as people hoped he would be, even at the
homecoming
spot that they. Yes, there was that factor, and to an extent, I believe in it for certain people, but it's not a rule of thumb that you can apply. Like Westbrook is a homecoming thing.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And he's starting to rack up triple doubles again. So okay, let's not talk about the turnovers, but he's gonna give you triple doubles while LeBron's not here.
Yeah.
Right? Without LeBron, he's gonna do his best to be the one to help carry the team and triple double his way. On the contrary, in Kemba's case, homecoming, yeah. My point is, it's Julius Randle's team. Okay,
Yeah.
you're a guest on Julius Randle's team.
He's not
Everything
the
should
main.
revolve around Julius.
Yeah.
Actually, he's just more of a distraction. In Filipino Pangulo. Actually, he's more. It disrupts.
I think at this point, Kemba is just a name value. There's just some name value to Kemba,
I mean,
but
he will play well also in certain games, but no. I don't care what he does later, but no.
Yeah.
I'm not a Kemba. So I'm not answering that question by predicating it that I was biased against Kemba, and I explained why I'm not a fan. The kind of things that he will give you, the points, threes, assists. I mean, you can actually get that oddly enough from Devontae Graham, right?
True.
Yes.
So
True.
Those are Kemba-esque numbers of low but more consistent.
Yeah.
So he's healthier. He's giving you the dimes, the threes. Fine, bad field goal, but I don't think Kemba was going to give you good field goal.
Maybe like a Dinwiddie, right?
Oh, right. What Dinwiddie, lacks the steals that Kemba can give, right? So, okay.
True.
I mean, these are perfect lower end poor man's Kembas if Kemba was playing well, but Kemba's not playing well.
Yeah.
So I'm not
not too high on Kemba.
I'm not high on his ROS.
Yeah.
There. I don't think up and down, but not overall high.
Yeah. Gio Larte question, trade question. Sabonis Duarte for SGA Jeremy Grant, 16 team.
I'd rather keep Sabonis. I'd rather keep Sabonis. Duarte is an honorable mention as far as rookies that I really enjoyed. I know that Levert, kind of rained on his rookie party.
Right.
And he'll probably do that again when he comes back. But Duarte is solid because my joke is that he's old. He's a 24-year-old rookie.
That's true.
And he's almost not a rookie in that sense. So he's very well seasoned already. And he can provide, he can play well, play consistently, and understand pro-level coaching. And that's why he's good. So I'd rather keep Sabonis. I mean, Sabonis is playing so well. I mean, regardless of those every other game explosive Miles Turner games, Sabonis is steadily giving you double good assists. And, it's SGA will be up and down. SGA is a tanking sit risk, among other things.
Yeah.
Jeremy also. So
Jeremy also.
Both of the players is getting.
So
but
Sabonis side.
Sabonis is the best player in the conversation. I'd keep the best player because he can carry. He can really carry with a crazy game.
Yeah.
Yes,
true.
That's true.
This one you don't need to answer Barnes or Anunoby. Who is better than Barnes or Anunoby?
Scotty Barnes. Scotty or Harrison?
I would think Scotty. Anunoby, obviously Anunoby at this point.
Well, I like him. I mean, when I was inquiring about this is like week 2, right? Or half of week 2, I in group chat asked about the Miles Bridges owner. I go, how much Miles?
How much
OG.
Miles? It's like going to the store.
That's how we chat. So sorry if it's a bit, but that's how we chat. So, how much for Miles? He answered in group chat, OG. So that was Miles playing at top of the league. He was willing to set, he picked obviously, but I love OG's upside. I think that he'll have bad games of shooting.
Yeah.
But I've watched some games on League Pass. He has this nice, sweet fadeaway mid-range shot right now that he developed.
Offensively, it's getting better every season.
Yeah, great. Oh, you don't think? I mean, it's from somebody who was just a pure defender who's now become a two-way player. It's crazy, and he's, guys, with somebody like Anunoby who is still blossoming. We're talking about maybe even just tip of the iceberg here.
Yep, true.
Okay, he might actually be the one that we should have been counting on the 15 to 20 range instead of MPJ. Maybe it should have been Anunoby. All right.
True. Yeah.
And during the times that he started off slow with the bad field goal, all of the Raptors started on those few games with the bad field goal. But when they started winning, and Van Vliet was really playing like a leader and playing well, Anunoby is like, okay. If there are guys who can give you 1-1-1, he's a crazy mofo who can give you 2-2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
in that,
I love OG.
Obviously, it's Anunoby. Barnes, it's still early. If this is Scotty Barnes, rookie, there would be ups and downs there. Yeah. But he's good.
I mean, I think the last time I checked, he was the leader in the Rookie of the Year informal, whatever.
I think it's really between him and Mobley so far.
Yeah. Okay. Barnes surprised everyone. They remember when the Raptors, you picked him over
Suggs.
Over Suggs, and they thought that Suggs was, there was a reaction league-wide.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that? Why? Oh, now we know why, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I only own one share of Scotty Barnes, and I'm loving him. Okay. Yep. He's playing really well, and I can understand why that was brought up in the conversation. But they're two different players. They function very differently. He's a point forward with some good defense. That's what Scotty Barnes is. OG Anunoby is a two-way player. He's going to be a scorer, and he can defend. He's like half of Kawhi Leonard if Kawhi was playing right now, right?
Yes.
If you put it that way, without the passing yet. But to think about it, he's still growing. Okay.
I was already thinking about that when you were talking about OG, the improvement of his offensive game. He started as a defender. It's similar to Kawhi, right? He started as a defender and then improved his offensive game to where it is now. And probably, I think OG has that potential.
Okay. To be fair, and again, this is to reinforce some thinking and analysis about players. And just because we mentioned him, and it's very memorable to me. Kawhi Leonard was a slow bloomer.
Yeah.
It took him year 4 before he started really being a monster.
Yeah.
But it was a slow process. And you have to also understand where he was groomed by the Spurs.
Yeah.
And he was the team was notorious for being slow with their young players.
Yeah.
And that's how he went up. And there are players who are like that. But here, Anunoby was like, first a garbage time player only.
Yeah.
Then a rotational player for his defense, etc. He's really grown so much. And again, once he perfects that mid-range fadeaway, like near the top of the key, that's almost Dirkish. I mean, with all due respect to Dirk, who's probably the best fadeaway jumper of all time, but it's Dirk-ish. And once he gets that nailed on a consistent level, he's gonna hit 50 field goal or 49-ish, and then he's a beast. Because right now that's his biggest drawback. It's just low shooting from the field. But again, that all started, and a lot of that was caused by the bad start of the Raptors when they're all shooting poorly.
Yep.
They're working themselves. Look at now.
Into game shape.
They're in better game shape. They're playing, inspired basketball, right?
It's like, I love the Raptors. They're one of my favorite teams.
They're fun to watch and
yes,
everything.
Yes.
But
I love them.
This is going to be funny because as I scroll down, he was referring to Harrison Barnes.
All right. See? All right. I'm still with... Okay. If I had Harrison
but we're still with
Barnes,
OG, right? We agreed that it's still OG.
Yeah.
No. If I had Harrison Barnes, I would offer him right now to any OG manager who has OG. I would.
Yes.
I would sell. That's a perfect. Okay. Good question. And that's because we've heard a lot of experts. I think Dan's done it. I've done it also in my show. Harrison Barnes is a sell high guy. Okay, he's
Yes.
a sell high guy. He did this also last year, people. For those of you who might be just starting fantasy basketball, he did the same thing exactly. Then he was a superstar at top 30 monster, blah blah blah. Then 6 straight weeks of 12 points on 4 of 15
Mediocre.
shooting. Oh my god, I can't trade him anymore. No one wants him. So sell high, get somebody like OG. You're a winner, because at the end of the day, over the course of the season, OG is going to give you more consistent production on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis, which you're going to be happier about, and it's going to help your team win more.
Yeah.
Barnes is just really hot now, so sell him.
Sell him. And I would also suggest to package him, because we've been always talking about Barnes not being a very nice player to trade. Like, not many really wants him.
Because he's not buzzy. He's
Yes.
I mean,
Not the
boring.
sexy player that you would want.
To be fair, I've never been a fan, because back when before he started producing like this, which was like just really maybe a season and a half, maybe two ago, he was very vanilla, especially during his time in Dallas. He was a gross score only, no threes, no defense.
Not consistent.
It was, fantasy trash in that sense. But, he scored. He was a scorer. And that's why the Kings, I don't know why the Kings got him, but he improved now because, he started
taking threes.
hitting threes, getting some defensive numbers here and there, rebounding the ball better.
Facilitating.
And the high volume scoring translated into impact for both field goal and free throw. So yeah, he's good. I mean, teams that have him rostered are generally winning because he's a good impact guy. But there will be weeks that he will lose you your weekly matchup because he won't be playing at this level consistently throughout the season.
So that's a good sell high value for Harrison Barnes.
Yeah,
you can get
he's the
OG
perfect
for him.
OG is the perfect target in my opinion because OG is playing a lot lower value than him.
Yeah. Wiseman, is he worth a stash in a 14-team league?
If you're after something like 1.3 blocks and maybe 6 boards later with a little bit of hit in your free throw, yeah, sure. Because those are probably hard to find on the wire. Because Kevin Looney's trash, regardless of that nice
that
career,
11-17.
Which was already a career high for him. And I'm willing to bet money that he won't do that again this season. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's how sure I am that, that was an outlier, guys. There. Don't get, learn to see that games are just outliers. That was an outlier for Looney. And it's all there on paper. The Warriors as an organization love Wiseman. His teammates love Wiseman. Everybody around him. He has a great support system that's motivated to see. They want him to see him succeed.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about that. And I think he'll hopefully play smarter after the mental and psychological challenge of being injured like that in your rookie season. Yes, he's worth a stash. If you have the IL,
I agree.
Yeah, I'd stash him if I had IL. But if you don't, it might be too soon because we might be looking at sometime December before he's, With IL, sure, I would. And I don't have a lot of injured guys, yeah.
Question from Donnie Riosa. Brandon Ingram. Is it time to panic about or to be really worried about Brandon? What's Ingram's injury?
Hip. I think it's a hip thing, right?
Yeah, hips take time, as we mentioned, and that's like what happened to Chuma. It took him weeks to get back. And no, if anything, I'd try to buy into Ingram shares because I'm not confident in Zion playing himself into shape. Okay, he's so out of freaking shape. It'll take so long for him to play into proper shape. Yes,
It might not take.
Yeah.
The whole season might not be enough.
I mean, hello, Oliver Miller. I mean,
Yeah.
for those of you who are old enough to know Oliver Miller, for those of you young enough to don't know Oliver Miller, Google Felix Sanz Oliver Miller. That is your Zion Williamson this year, right
Or the
now.
second
And
Maybe,
coming of
maybe,
second
maybe
coming of
Glenn
Sean Kemp.
Davis, big baby.
when the weight gain exploded, right?
Yeah.
But I
But
mean,
maybe
okay.
he's afraid of because the Pelicans are 1-11, right? So what if there's a tank party
Mm,
coming up, and Ingram's the only good player there, basically. I mean, Jonas, yeah.
wow.
Jonas
Consider
also.
Zion good anymore.
Well, I mean, he's out, so I
Yeah,
think
right, right.
they could ease him slowly.
There will be a good chance. Okay, to just boil it down, when he does come back, I think there will be enough games that are substantive enough that he will make an impact for your team positively, and
Mm-hmm.
because he will be carrying the Pelicans during the time that Zion will still be absent, so it's okay. Yes, there is some worry in the back. Okay, in this season, everybody is a worry of some kind, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
sit risk, okay, I'll take that. I mean, just take COVID. So many players are getting COVID. It's crazy. And I mean, no offense to the end of bench guys in real teams, but no, these are not end of bench guys. These are guys who are
It's a
supposed to be
stars.
top 50. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are stars. And it's such a headache. I just recently got Tobias Harris back. I it's uh yeah, it's a 16 team league, I think, or 14. I can't remember. But I had to drop someone, and I dropped Thad Young. So because they have Thad games next week, and by then after that, Portal will be back. So Thad was the disposable guy to immediately activate Tobias
Tobias.
for last night, NBA time. So I mean, it was worth it. I mean, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
Thad Young is somebody who's a short term guy. To be honest, Portal will get
Yes.
his minutes back, and um, so risks. There are a lot of risks. There's a lot of scary people, and going back. That's why keeping somebody like Sabonis, so I consider relatively safe. And you just want guys who just play and you forget about it. Like, unfortunately, there's an injury right now to Norm Powell, but he was a guy that I would have loved to just
Yes.
plug and forget, right? Tobias Harris is plug and forget because that was
Yes.
just COVID,
Yes.
right? So
Chris Middleton also,
again,
right? And he also got COVID. Yeah.
COVID only. Actually, that's a play that we should, as experts, push more. Try to buy COVID infected guys, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that's the move because they see 7 to 10 days missed, and it can hurt if they're
Yeah.
struggling. But
2
some
weeks,
people
pretty
don't have
much 2 weeks of fantasy.
there's not the same level of patience. Not everyone has the same level of patience. They might be willing to you could buy low on an injured
Or
guy.
they
I mean,
might have
there-
a lot of players injured, like like
well,
2, 3, 4 players out, and they're
and
worried that they can't win the week.
let's say yes. There's this guy in one league. I think he said out loud in the group chat, "I'm pivoting to punt points. Middleton up," meaning Middleton is up for trade.
Yeah.
So yeah, also that's an example of an opportunity right there. But he asked for my OG, so I go no. So, no. but that was an example of the price he was asking because he still sees Middleton. And I go no, I just want divisoria price only. Not I no.
No cost.
You know what I mean?
Best
Yeah,
Buy.
just-
Best
just-
Buy.
Just discount, please. Just
Uh,
discount.
How about this? So yeah, Brandon Ingram, just don't worry yet. Not,
Too
not
much. I mean,
don't
he's
worry
still
too
a
much.
solid top 40 guy once he's back and playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
One of our, did you ask about the Horford Rubio trade?
not yet. Not
Already?
yet.
That's with Horford Rubio for Ingram trade that one of our co-managers executed.
It's an
Do you like
eight-cat
that?
Accepted.
eight-cat league.
8-cat league. It's an 8-cat league. That was accepted.
No
That was accepted
turnovers.
because this is a league that is a team league. So three of us, we each manage a league in that team setting, and one of our co-managers who's managing the other team that we have made this deal. We had Brandon Ingram, and he traded him for Horford and Rubio.
Yeah, that might be a bit of recency bias from Rubio's big game, plus the
Possibly.
recency bias of Horford's hot start. I actually have Horford as one of my guys who are still sell high right
Sell
now.
high, yeah.
Yeah, he was crazy good. I have one share of Al Horford, and I'm loving it. But I'm not expecting to be seeing those numbers. I mean, okay, at the time that he spiked into the top 10 people, he was doing 3.5 or almost 4 blocks per game.
Yes.
Because that was still a small sample size, and that
Yeah,
will
he had
even
6
out.
blocks in his first or second game.
Okay, and that skewed everything.
Yeah.
These hard to find stats when they explode, for a player especially. Like, okay, an example is Alex Caruso, who's carried exclusively by his steals.
Yes.
He's you give you a few assists, but but he's really a low end guy later.
Yeah.
Because Kobe White will be coming back, and even though I, as a fan, believe that Alex Caruso is the better NBA player because I hate Kobe White, but um, there will be minutes that will be taken away from Caruso, and right now because of the heavy minutes, Caruso's statistical impact is visible. But back with the Lakers, he's the kind of defender that sorry, my age is showing. Bruce Bowen type, that the impact is high, but it doesn't necessarily come out in stats.
Yes.
Caruso is also like that. He actually impacts the game far more than what you see on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
So he'll still be positive for the Bulls. He'll be great in the plus minus whatever a column, but the stats
does not reflect that.
Yeah, the stats will also suffer later. So an example, I traded. Okay, I only have 2 centers in a 2-center 16-team roster, so I needed a third center to cycle for daily changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
To fill dead slot. You don't want a dead center slot as much as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a questionable trade in the sense that it was voted 3-2 by the voting committee, because that's our system over there. I traded Caruso for Mason Plumlee. What are your opinions on that? Oh, I'm losing, right? But I needed a center. So, and at that time, exactly after that the deal went through, my other center, okay, my 2 centers for clarity, one is great, Rashawn Holmes, but after that it drops so much. It's Shingun is my other center, so I needed an extra guy. So and that was the illness game of Shingun, and exactly Plumlee came and helped me, gave me 5 assists, 4 assists of that game, and some boards. On a sheer ranking and valuation perspective, I lost. I needed a positional need. I was okay.
I think that's
with
fine. I think it's fair. I mean, I don't see it being far out.
Okay.
It's more of a needs thing than just valuations.
Yeah, I mean, so, and that's one thing I would like to stress for managers out there. Don't be too hung up about a trade being equal.
Yeah.
There is almost no equal trade.
There are managers who are really strict when it comes to, there's really no fair trade.
Some guy has to be 54 and you're trading him for the 55 or 53 guy. Kind of, for it to be fair.
For it to be fair, yes.
Yeah, so I go, what? So I should trade a 100 something for Damian Lillard. You'll be okay with that. The logic is flawed.
Yeah.
Right? So it's, and that's why I generally don't join league trade rules. I normally have a commissioner who I trust, or let's say it's a small committee of 3 to 5 guys. Sometimes they do that for convenience, because there are, it could go both ways. Sometimes, especially later in the season, people don't bother vetoing, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
There was one time it was controversial. The league got a bad trade went through. It passed. I stepped in as the commissioner. I go, no, this is a bad trade. I'm sorry. And I think it was 20-team league, and a lot of people were already out of it.
Out.
So they didn't veto something that should have been, because they're not paying attention anymore. So there, it's don't get too hung up on
The
rankings.
trades.
The
As long as there's an angle or a perspective where you can see where the other guy is coming from.
Yes.
I'd let it pass. Pass.
Okay, I'll run through some more questions.
Sure.
I'll just pick, because there are Jalen Suggs. Your thoughts on Jalen Suggs? Is he a drop in a 14 team?
Okay.
By Cyril
here.
Alzate.
14 team exactly. I know 16. I dropped him early. I picked up Franz Wagner. Brilliant move now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
At that time,
That's a win.
Franz Wagner was. I drafted Suggs, thinking Suggs would be he was the big name, lottery pick, etc. And I never looked back. Okay. Sorry, but to answer your question specifically, if you're trying to win field goal, obviously, yes, you can drop him. I think you can trade him, because just to share, there was chatter in the group chat when somebody dropped Suggs. Somebody commented, "Oh, you dropped Suggs. Too bad. I was going to offer you so-and-so." So try not to drop right away.
Yeah.
Again,
Ask first.
really make sure it's the last resort. Try to trade as much as possible. If Suggs is actually viable in punt field goal builds, he's not so bad. If you punt the field goal,
Yes.
because that's his biggest negative right now.
Yeah.
He can shoot threes. He's passing the ball and occasionally scoring well, and he's actually gonna get better. He was a great player in college.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just not translating too well right now, right away. And I mean, there are a lot of great players in college who suddenly suck in the rookie season, but eventually get better. And he might be that kind of guy. And it's just that people expected, high value right away. So my suggestion would be approach punt field goal teams and swap him for somebody who might not score or shoot as much threes, and swap him for that.
Yeah. So yeah, depends on your build as well, and try to trade them. I think that's
Okay.
For certain players, you might consider trying to trade them or include them in a trade package.
Suggs is a perfect kind of kicker or throw-in guy. I just want a 2-for-1 or whatever.
Because there will be managers who still believe that he can, pick things up.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
When I dropped him, I got DM'd by people from that same league. Why'd you drop Suggs? Do you know something we don't? I go, I'm
something we don't.
So, yeah. So I answered, I'm competing in field goal. I don't like the field goal. I don't like the TOs. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And when somebody
he can kill you. He can kill you in field goal.
Exactly.
He takes
then
a lot of
guy
attempts.
Who also messaged me. I go, dude, look who I picked up. Franz Wagner. No brainer, right? Look how he's playing. He gives me steals. He gives me threes, some boards, some assists, and much better field goal. Fine, he's also up and down, but not as down as Suggs can go. Because Suggs, as a scorer, he was a combo guard in college, guys. He will take a lot of shot attempts. It's just that they're not falling right now.
Yeah.
But he was shooting in the high 40s or low 50s back in
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga. There, thank you. He's just not hitting. It's not just working. And besides, It's the Cole Anthony show, baby.
Yes.
What's your there's a question here about, potential trade targets for Cole, but yeah, what's your thoughts on Cole Anthony?
I love him. I think that the leap is legit. He's blossomed into something good. Again, we might be looking at the high end of his range.
Yeah, this
but
is the peak.
He will
probably.
get better. It's kind of like a Jamarant situation.
Mhm.
He might not be performing at this level consistently, ROS, but he will definitely crush what he did last year.
For sure.
that's
Yeah,
legit.
For sure.
yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
he's the lead singer, and Jalen Suggs suddenly became the Chuwari Wariwap,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The
And that's
backup.
probably why Suggs is, sucking also, because he's lost. He didn't expect to be the secondary
Second fiddle.
guard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You were saying?
But if you were
Go.
Yeah. Go.
if you were targeting someone, if you want to sell Cole Anthony high, how high would you go? Would you go top 50 maybe? Top 40?
Yeah, again, I get, solid, consistent. I mean, if there was, okay, let's
Garland?
I will. Yeah, that's no.
You'd rather have Cole.
I'd rather have Cole.
Okay.
I'd rather have Cole.
Okay.
Would I like a, because the top
Drew.
50 is yeah, I take that. I take Holiday. There. Sold. I mean, top 50. Okay. It's an odd question because CJ McCollum is 54 right now. Oh, so will I take CJ McCollum? Though
Over Cole.
okay. Yeah, easy. So
Yeah.
because Cole is in top 30, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would I take CJ McCollum for Cole? Yeah.
Yes.
Would I take
Yes.
Norman Powell? Yeah. I'd still take Norman Powell. In the end, I'm not a naysayer about the upside. I'm with you on the upside. It's there. It's happening. It's real. It's legit. But again, I'm worried that we might be seeing the upper end, the best games. So, this is a snapshot of his best games. But then there will be some peaks and valleys. It'll be painful when you hit the valleys. Right? But there are guys like CJ who can actually flirt with top 10 like he did last season, right? When his shot just won't miss.
Yes.
So
I think
he made for a time, and due respect to Dame, he made Dame look like second fiddle for a while
true.
last season in fantasy.
And
So,
early this
I think-
season. I mean, the first I know it's still early, but the first couple of weeks, first 3 weeks.
Just to throw ridiculous names in the top 50 that shouldn't be. Bradley Beal is 58 right now in 9-cat.
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton. I mean, I take all of those names over Cole Anthony.
Yes.
Devin Booker even, and I hate Devin Booker. I take Devin Booker over Cole Anthony. So that's but
Miles Bridges or Cole Anthony?
Miles Bridges, I think, is ahead of the curve. He started his breakout,
Earlier.
Last season.
Yeah, sooner. So he is more seasoned. I mean, sorry, okay, it's too much of that word. He's more better groomed for a more consistent showing. So definitely, I'd still stick with Miles over
Cole.
Cole Anthony.
Cole. So Cole is somebody like, he'll be a hot guy coming into next season already. Even, I mean, I even forgot about Markelle Fultz. Poor Markelle Fultz. I mean, sheesh.
I think it's Cole Anthony.
Cole Anthony or
he's
Josh Giddey?
Cole Anthony.
Cole.
I like
At this
Giddey.
point,
I
Cole.
like Giddey, but Cole. Again, also for the same reason I chose Miles over Cole. Cole is ahead of the curve in the sense that he's had a year under his belt.
Yeah.
But we might have a different conversation 3 seasons from now.
Yeah.
Giddey might
I think
overtake him.
Giddy's field goal would prevent him from, getting to where we want him to be in his rookie season.
Yeah, true, and that's what happened to Jason Kidd early, and he's one of the best points. He was somebody who he's the closest thing to a Giddey mold, right?
Yes.
We're talking about crappy field goal, high rebounds, high assists. even
Few
the steals
points.
aren't the 3 points and the steals, right? That's the kid.
Yes.
But but the low volume of scoring sometimes
Yes.
help. But when Jason Kidd finally became crazy good because of his high volume steals, he was touching easily top 30,
Yes.
So we are
But maybe
looking
not
at
this year for
I
Giddy.
mean, too soon. But again, 2 to 3 seasons from now, we could be
Yes,
seeing
yes.
the next generation of Jason Kidd
Jason Kidd.
archetype, kit, as I like to call it, stat kit there.
Yes.
Um,
I agree.
Here's a question from CJ Orensia. He has Paul George, Giannis, Holmes, and Gobert. Should
What?
he trade his Holmes for Westbrook? He has Paul George, Giannis, Holmes, and Gobert, and LeBron in IL. Should he get Westbrook instead and trade Holmes?
So I guess he wants to punt the free throw. I think that's what he's
Yep.
planning to
And
do.
he's not gonna really punt the field goal because he has Gobert and Giannis. Maybe this is a shallower league, but yeah.
My
No,
my
not really a
problem with
shallow.
that is the swing is huge because it's Holmes he's getting rid of. Holmes is a positive impact on your TOs because he commits so few of them.
Yes.
Then suddenly you're punting not just free throw but TOs as well. So
Agree.
do you have enough support to still win 7-2? Maybe 6-3. Then on a bad situation, you're 5-4. Then that's too close. Then you suddenly become 4-5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's why when it comes to Westbrook, it has to be a very deliberate build. Yes, as long as that Holmes move is not your last, you'll continue to work and tweak your team to strengthen everything else that you're missing aside from the free throw and turnovers. Catch up on threes, catch up on
Threes,
steals,
yes.
maybe even blocks. At this point, you're losing blocks by giving up Holmes. So you'll need to, there's so much to catch up on, but it can become a strong build come fantasy playoffs. Because Giannis, Westbrook, Gobert is sick trio, right? You can forget about the boards, it's yours. You can almost forget about assists. But Gobert will need help with the blocks. You face off against the 6-block game from Miles Turner. Suddenly, you're the one trying to catch up, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not easy. We're looking at some explosive games nowadays, so it's really hard to judge. But you will need to do a lot of work. So it's okay, but have a plan. Don't do it on when you make a trade and you have a vision or a plan. Stick to it and work towards refining it. That's a big move, but you need the minor adjustments to make it work. It can. It's not. On paper, on sheer value, it looks ugly. On sheer fantasy value, it looks ugly. But if you're
But
gonna
it could
punt,
fit.
sure. But it could fit.
Yeah,
But
it could fit.
you have to be very purposeful in building your team, adjusting it around.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, go ahead. Next.
Middleton plus Conley for Chris Paul.
Yeah. Okay.
Middleton side or
No, I
Chris
take
Paul
Chris
side.
Paul. I take Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. I'll take Chris Paul.
I'll take Chris Paul. I sold low on my Mike Conley. I recently traded, probably a bad trade, but I traded him for Jordan Poole. Despite the bad field goal. Why? I'm counting the games. The back-to-backs are not
the 17
friendly.
games or the 15 remaining back-to-back.
Yes, that's what was in the back of my mind. And my line of thinking is when Clay returns, I think Poole will be better as a sixth man. He'll be scary as a sixth man. Right now, there's so much pressure on Poole. Yeah, there's a lot of. You don't know if you're gonna help, Steph Curry while he's shooting his 9 threes, or you're gonna make your own shot, right? You don't know how to play around Steph.
He's thinking too much, right? When you watch him. Yes.
But if you're gonna come off the bench and you're when they rest Clay, you're gonna come in and do your thing because you're single focused on just scoring. I'm gonna score.
Yes.
I'm not here to watch Steph Curry. I'm here to score.
Yes.
Everybody gets distracted, but I think I'm buying low on Poole because the bad field goal was the start. But he's shown he can shoot well, better at least than his current production. And Conley, even though on paper Conley does do everything better than Poole, the missed games bug me, man.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That really lowers Conley's value by a lot.
I drafted Conley in the 90s.
90s, 80s.
So
even
taken 100 something. So the gap is actually not that far relative to what our investments were.
Yeah.
So that's an example.
Here's some Suggs trade ideas from
scenarios.
Those watching. Suggs for Sengun. You can't get Sengun for Suggs, that's for sure. Suggs for Gafford.
You can try.
But the chances of that happening really low. Suggs for Gafford. That's
you can try also.
You can try.
Well,
that's I know the Sengun is a lot farther. That's more unlikely than the Suggs for Gafford thing.
In the sense that people are expecting Sengun to eventually be big second half.
The trade value of Sengun has been really high.
I got in week 2 or week 1.5 or week 2, I got offered Kelly Oubre when Kelly Oubre was hot for my Sengun. Oh, I go, Sengun
no way.
Really, I go, yeah. I mean, actually, I said, sorry, I don't have any more centers.
Commish offered what for Sengun?
Me?
Yeah.
You offered someone higher.
I offered Scotty Barnes. I offered Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I offered Jordan Poole. I offered everybody for Sengun. I was rejected. They wanted Tyrese.
Okay, Scotty Barnes is a bit too. Scotty Barnes will finish better than Sengun. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Actually, at that point, I just wanted to own a Sengun because I really like Sengun. Okay. So I was really going for Sengun. And after a while, I was thinking, why don't I give up Scotty Barnes? Scotty Barnes is fun to own himself. So I just good thing you rejected. Good thing you rejected the trade.
They wanted
Tyrese. They wanted Haliburton. I said no way. No way in hell. No way in hell.
Some managers
I think no was kind of fair.
Yes.
Because he still has upside, but he has his own stats and issues. But okay, even Sengun, we were expecting him to be, points, boards, steals. We know that he's not a great shot blocker, but he can be a steals kind of guy, He can pass well. He can even shoot the three. He's like a Turkish Chito Loizaga, who doesn't really well. Oh my God, I'm so old. No one knows. Nobody knows who that is. Okay, Google him. People, sorry, but no, because he's the big man who doesn't block and shoots threes.
Maybe Bo Belga.
Okay, there, fine. For the younger crowd, Bo Belga for you. But before there was Bo Belga, you had Chito Loizaga.
Yes.
Right? So I'm too old. But no one can call themselves a Ginebra fan unless you've been with the Doors era Ginebra. That's like saying you're a Laker fan when Magic Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm an original fan of that team back in the day. But anyway, sorry, we're going to the wrong league. But sorry, Sengun is good. It's that he'll have a rocky situation at the start. I think because the Rockets are trying to see where Christian Wood is at and how well he can play. They're studying if he will be their big man of the future. Maybe not. It might be Sengun, or it might be whoever it is they end up drafting. Okay. No. I'm sorry. No. You're probably a closet fan of his stat set of steals, blocks, and whatever. But no, because I don't think he can be as elite of a scorer that Christian Wood is currently doing, or even as elite a rebounder. Sorry, but maybe not yet. Not anytime soon. Also, but Sengun, I think they will fade Daniel Tice. I mean, I only had one share of Daniel Tice, and soon after I realized no, it's not going to be good. I dropped dice and picked up a hot FA at the time.
Mhm.
Şengün is going to be the guy later. It's just that you'll have to live with the 5 of 12 free throw or whatever random game. But it's
Yes.
there. The promise is there.
Yep.
It's good.
Trade question. Isaiah Stewart for Nickel Alexander-Walker and Cam Reddish.
Mm.
Okay, people are down. Okay, now is the wrong time to do that. After the Kelly Olynyk injury, now is the wrong time to do that.
Actually, this is a trade from one of the Fantasy Benchwarmers League. It was offered or at least submitted to the commissioner's office before today. Before today.
It was accepted already?
Yeah, it was accepted already. Before today.
Before the injury was announced, basically, of the Olynyk.
Even in okay, I think Cam Reddish is a potentially great scorer. It's just that the Hawks are just too deep and it's hurting him sometimes. But he'll throw in a dud. I was one of the people who was high on Nickel Alexander-Walker, and let's get that out of the way first. But it's becoming very clear to me that he will hurt field goal. The turnovers might not be as nice as you'd like. I mean, I expected him to be passing a bit more. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He is performing below my dream expectations, if I were to mix words. So, despite Stewart's current underwhelming play, because he's also underwhelming, the guy was top 50 post All-Star break, people. So it's just like saying...
Wait, but I would challenge that as well. Michael Porter Jr. was top 20 post.
Yes. So in that same vein, and those were quote-unquote breakout windows for both players, right? Do you think that they can come back? I think that Stewart can.
I think Stewart can also. I agree.
think he can. I think he's just off to a slow start. Okay, remember, he he was first the backup of Mason Plumlee exclusively. And Plumlee was playing well. And they had to fade Plumlee just to give him extra minutes because they wanted to develop him and whatnot. And I think it's just the shock of all of these minutes and early fouls sometimes. Yeah. It's a mix of things, but he still shoots decent free throw. He still can shoot threes. It's just
still
not
gives you one steal, one block.
One steal, one block. They're just not at the volume that you were hoping to see when you spent your 70-ish,
not consistent,
70-ish pick for a top 50 kind of value you were hoping for, right?
Yeah. A big part of it is foul trouble, though. I think.
Yes,
he has been foul trouble very early.
I haven't dissected that for that specific player, but it could be. I mean, if that's the reasoning, that could be why Jaren Jackson Jr. hasn't broken out, because there are foul-prone players, and that's a part of their game that they'll have to fix. Yeah. And once they fix it, they can be better, and that could be the situation for Stewart. So
yes,
it's not a vetoable trade off the top.
It was approved.
It's all right.
Even after the fact that the injury was announced after the trade.
Even after, but hey, if you think about it, the way they were playing Stewart, they let him play, and it's only when he gets into foul trouble or needs to sit, that's when they bring in Kelly.
Yes.
It's not like, okay, sit now because we want Kelly. No. Okay, Kelly, you have to go because he got into 2 fouls.
Yes.
It's more like that. It's not that Kelly was a threat. It's just that Kelly played well during his limited minutes, and we were happy with the production. Yeah. Because he was drafted far later in based on ADB.
So there. So Stewart more or less wins by.
I think so, but based on expected bounce
but again, it's just our speculations, right?
Yeah, I think he'll still. I trust the stat kit. Maybe, and he showed that he could do it.
Yeah. How about this? Steph Curry and Scotty Barnes. These are big trades for
The big
KD and Jaren Jackson
And JJ, yeah, I saw that one.
by Andre Santos.
It's a very controversial trade, actually. I mean, a lot of people had different
Takes.
opinions. Yes, about that
Okay.
deal.
Steph and Scotty Barnes for KD and JJ.
It's not as controversial to me. It was a little bit easier compared to some of the other scenarios. I trust Steph a lot more than KD off the top. Just the motivational factor of how the Warriors are playing is a big deal.
Yep,
I mean,
they're winning.
They're playing well.
That's big.
Okay. KD is playing crazy good right now. And, that's because of the some person who doesn't want the vaccine. And he has to do so much more. But and he's supposedly allowed to play in back-to-back, so and so.
Yeah.
He has played
He's
in
healthy.
back-to-backs.
He's played in back-to-backs, and he's allowed to play in all the other back-to-backs. He was great in the Olympics. Everything is pointing to but there were so many seasons that it was all pointing at a nice finish. Then suddenly, an ankle, a hamstring. Okay, you want slow healers. He is a slow healer. He tweaks something, hurts something.
Yeah.
What normally would take, let's say,
What was his injury last year that took really a long time for him to return?
I think it's the hamstring.
Hamstring?
The hamstring.
Hamstring.
I think, yeah.
so that's. I mean, that affects everyone in length. I mean, that bogged down Chris Paul's tenure in Houston, for example.
Houston. Yes.
Right? So it's really a nasty thing when it comes to hamstrings. But so all it takes is a hamstring, then he's gone 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Wow. Right? So and dude, okay, here's another rule of thumb I follow, depending on the depth of league. If you have a player who can win you a stat with less support, one category with as little support as possible, you'll have more flexibility to, in the way that Steph carries threes.
The threes.
It's the impact is crazy.
Yeah.
It almost offsets the no drawback setup of Durant, because Durant does everything and Durant has no drawbacks. But the impact of Steph, he'll give you points and threes, and but he also does so many other things.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
in the
This
end,
year
I
has
still-
been really good for Steph. He has more assists, more
Steals.
rebounds,
Actually, steals.
steals.
steals are up.
But if you
Um,
have an elite category wherein Steph is in, like, say, a threes or maybe the
Threes.
points, it's easier to, even if your other scorers don't score well, at least there's one person
Yeah.
who can carry your team.
So, rule of thumb in head-to-head, the most common stat streamed is threes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You guys.
threes. There's a
pretty
lot
much know
there.
it.
There's a lot you can
There
get.
are a lot of 3-point specialists
Yeah.
Yes.
that you can cycle through. But if you're owning Steph, maybe out of, let's say, your 3 or 4 moves per week, you cycle in one 3-point shooter just to make sure you win it. After that, you could chase blocks, you could chase steals, you could chase boards. It's
Or you could,
better-
get, if you see that you're too strong in a certain category, you could trade for other players who can help you with the other categories. as
But
well.
okay, but to answer my comment, I guess, to provide my comment on the deal, it's fine. I mean, I can see both sides of the coin, and I see what the appeal of both sides are. But I would prefer to have the Steph Curry, Scotty Barnes side, because I think that Scotty Barnes just might get even better as the season goes, because even if Siakam is back, it doesn't affect Scotty Barnes because they are not sharing. I mean,
It hasn't, yeah.
it won't, because he's going to be a point forward, and that's a very unique situation. There aren't many point forwards like him.
Yeah,
he's a one of a kind guy, quote unquote one of a kind
unicorn.
Yeah, a different kind. Yeah, right.
Yeah, different kind.
So, but he's still a mythical beast in that sense that he'll be one of okay. My fearless forecast, maybe a season or two, he'll be a top 20 guy already.
Yeah.
Regularly at this rate.
Yes.
Because he has the potential to do everything and
He's-
great field goal. Wow.
like
Yummy.
we said it, like he seems to be the most NBA ready rookie this year in terms of build, in terms of game play.
But there were concerns about his scoring, right? I mean,
Yes.
that was his biggest coming into the season, pre-NBA draft. I mean, that yes, he's a good defender, and they were also concerned about. I mean, from the fantasy standpoint, we were worried about the percentages. There might not have been so great, but I go, wow, he's shooting well. I mean,
It's basically a
there are guys-
Draymond. I mean, not
Better-
in the skill, in the
in-
skill set, in the stat set,
in the one league, I purposefully made sure I drafted him in the one league that I own, that I picked Draymond Green to pair Scotty Barnes and Draymond Green as my point forward
Combo.
combo meal. But I strengthen, I double down basically on the kind of build. So I might need him since Draymond Green is hurting right now.
Yes.
But yes, I just shared that because of your comment that seeing
Comparison.
Draymond Green. But he's a Draymond Green who scores. He can actually
He scores
score
better.
He scores a lot
Has
better.
better
But,
offensive skill set.
Yeah. 'Cause Draymond is a defender who can pass well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Christian Wood for Jaren Jackson. Seems like there's a lot of Jaren Jackson trades going on. Christian Wood or Jaren Jackson? Press Leonardo, one of our avid followers.
I'll go Jaren Jackson.
I'll go Jaren Jackson.
Yeah. Me
I'll
too.
go Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson.
Okay, it's fair because in the sense that Jaren Jackson screws your field goal, but Christian Wood screws your free
Who's
throw.
your free throws?
But Christian Wood rebounds better, but
Jaren Jackson defends
Okay.
better. The blocks are better.
when you put them in, if you reach for their peak, I think that the Jaren Jackson peak is higher because what you see right now, and I will go back to this, Wood is maxed out as far as what he's delivering. He's a beast on the boards, etc., but he's maxed out already. That's his value. Jaren Jackson is a guy who gets into foul trouble, plays 25 minutes, and still gives you, middle round numbers. Imagine if he plays 32 minutes in crazy bonkers and he didn't foul and his shot is going in and he shot 50 field goals suddenly and hit 3 threes and blocked 3 shots. Baby, right?
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson. All right. Last question. Since Martin Tolendinas has a lot of questions about Sengun, we answered already who, Sengun value is high and for sure is Fortis as
It's not high yet.
not high yet, but the trade
the
value
demand,
because he's trying to
the
get
demand. Yeah, people
Sengun
want
and he's
Sengun.
throwing out some names like Bobby Portis. I don't think you're gonna get Bobby Portis for Sengun at this point because the
You're gonna
trade
get
value,
Sengun. Yeah.
the trade value of Sengun, as we said, is really high. Yeah. Well, pretty much that's it. Another one. Dropped Suggs for Tybull. Yes. Me, yes.
No
I'm a
brainer.
big fan
Yes.
of Tybull.
Drop 2
Yes.
players plus 1. Then get Tybull. It's okay. But to context people, the Sixers, the steals missing from
Simmons.
Ben Simmons, the 1.5, sometimes 1.6 in the fluctuation, the range, that's all gone.
Yeah.
And Danny Green's just really too old. I'm sorry. It's he's also a defender, right?
Yeah.
Tybull is the guy who's gonna defend on the perimeter, anticipate the passing lane, get those.
Elite.
He's just great.
You just watch Tybull's game. If you just watch the game, he's just elite in anticipating where the ball is going.
Yes.
How to position himself so he can get those blocks. Just watch the game and you will this is one player you will love to watch defend.
I mean, even if he gives you 1.6 steals and 1 block a game at 0.3 turnovers and low volume field goal, that's bad, but it won't affect you, and maybe 0.63s per game. Wow, that's juicy already. Okay, remember how Nerlens Noel, regardless, back last year, he doesn't score. His rebounds, he'll give you a
Not too
steal,
high.
Steal
2
and a
blocks.
block. 2 blocks,
I
yeah.
mean, he's an example. They're in a similar mold, except one guy is, you just swap the steals for the blocks with Tybull
Yes.
and Nerlens. They're like that. They're not gonna score, but they don't turn the ball over. But their defensive numbers are solid, and people are get hung up on the fact that he doesn't score. But then, don't you want to win steals? He'll help you big time with
Yes.
steals, and
Yeah.
it's weighted the same. Whether you win points or you win
Points.
steals, it's of equal value. Now you look at your build and see if do I have a better chance of winning steals? I'll go for that and fix it.
Yes.
And Tybull is not just steals guy. He can block shots for a
A
guard.
block from a shooting guard.
Yeah, for
Who
a guard.
gives 1 block from the shooting guard?
One or two. He can give you two easy. Too easy for
he can
him.
give you 2. On a
Right.
good night, he'll give you 3 steals, 2 blocks, and played only 23 minutes.
Yeah. So I think
So
that
crazy.
as far as defense goes for guards, very elite. And he's not the defender who will not give you any stats. Because we have defenders like that, right? I mean, the PJ
Yeah.
Tuckers or the Pat Bev or defenders who will probably not give you any steals or blocks, but can defend in real life basketball. He is not the type of guy. He can give you stats. So Tybull for sure. All right, we hit the almost 2.5 hour mark, and I know with Erik, we can talk here for 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm
5
sorry,
hours. No, it's okay. It's
I
okay.
talk too much.
No, it's okay.
No. It's
You ask one question and I give you 5-minute answer.
We love that.
we love that.
Actually, we love that.
It just shows how the love for fantasy basketball is with Erik, and of course us, and of course the followers are. There's some questions here, but if in case we jumped or missed out some of your questions, just message us and we'll answer, or message or you can tweet Erik.
You can tweet, yeah.
You can plug your podcast and your Twitter.
I have a podcast. Look it up on YouTube. It's the Hoop Ball YouTube channel. I do a weekly podcast right now. I just started like inspired by these guys among my other inspirations. It's called the Fantasy Fast Break. It's a very short podcast that hopefully I give insight in 24 minutes or less. That it's condensed, not a lot. I obviously will not talk this much in my podcast, but I just want to hit you with the pickups, the news, the moves, the buy lows, the sell highs, and hit all of those key things within 24 minutes. And you can always reach me on Twitter. I'm at Rotomancer on Twitter. That's ROTOMANCER.
Yeah, we'll link
Okay.
everything in the comments or in the description so that you can check out the podcast and the
And hoop-ball.com.
Yep, go to hoop-ball.
my mother website. I'm editor over there, and if you read blurbs that are tweeted or on our news feed almost every night, 5 days of the week, I'm there. I'm the editor who covers the blurbs and a lot of articles content wise. So please check out the site.
Hoopball.com. All right, we'll link everything there, and yeah, that's it.
Ball.
Hoop-ball.com.
Thanks.
And yeah, that's it for our live Q&A this week. Next week, we'll have another set also from the Invitational League. We still will let you know who our guests will be for next week. But with that, we'll end it right here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for our regular daily fantasy quickies. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.